back to Lloyd and JD, the best fucking podcast in the world. I am Lloyd.
I'm JD.
What's up?
Not much, man. How's it been? It's been a while since we've sat down. I mean, we've been hanging out and doing some other stuff, but essentially, it's been a while since we've sat down at this table and done our thing. And so this is a brand new season, newly relaunched back into it, and it's been good. It's been a nice little break, I think, in a sense.
Yeah, wasn't really like a planned break.
Yeah,
it was just I was more, not able to come a lot of times.
Right.
But just because of work, and I haven't been working a lot lately, so I have to work days that.
Yeah, and that's gonna
won't work.
So.
And then with my fiance, she's picking up doing certain work jobs at home, and it always falls on a Saturday. So.
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Especially with the kids, busy.
Yeah,
but I like
busy's good, man. Like, it's better than the opposite. I mean, especially in this day and age, and a lot of people being out of work, it's always good to be working and bringing in a paycheck kind of thing. So, no complaints there.
But I know you've been. We did go to the cannabis convention.
Right. I mean, initially the plan was that I would vlog there, and do a vlog because this was the first cannabis convention since legalization.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to go.
Right. So, I mean...
You wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah. And I most definitely, that was kind of... I thought, and we're going to talk about the whole experience. I thought it would, number one, be a lot bigger than it actually was. Mm-hmm. I was kind of surprised how little... there was
and
they
planned it same day as Baby and Todd show.
Yeah, and that was a weird thing walking in. Like, that was kind of a weird experience that we were walking because we park close to Cowboys, and then we walk in.
Gotten high, because I'm going to the cannabis convention.
Yeah, so we're walking all the way in, and honest to God, it felt like everybody
had kids.
Was going the other way too. With kids in strollers and like little toddlers and all sorts of stuff. And it's like, what's going on?
There was a woman breastfeeding outside of the cannabis convention show. Like, she was just sitting there breastfeeding for the Todd show. Yeah. So you got potheads filing in. Yeah. Breastfeeding. Todd show. Yeah. Wasn't the best planning I've ever seen in my life.
No, I mean, they did put them on completely opposite ends of the center, but I mean, it was just kind of a weird kind of thing. And it was funny because as we were walking towards the show, I made a joke saying, watch, they've probably put a Tots, show.
They 100% did.
And they did, because when we went to exit, we kind of followed the flow, and there they were kind of in the last room. That was the most cracked
out Snow White you've ever seen in your life. She scared the shit out of me. I seen that one kid, she bent down to say hello, and he was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah. She was something else. Like, I think she might have...
Did she have a face tattoo? I think she had a face tattoo.
I know she had full sleeves.
And I'm not... Like, I am covered in tattoos.
And I'm a tattoo artist, so I'm not judging
against tattooists. But, like, if you're holding a show with, like, beloved princesses and princes from storybooks that have already been written and told, maybe you shouldn't host the Snow White as, like, a train wreck.
Yeah. She looked a little rough on the edges too. Like, I mean, tattoos aside, she looked a little rough.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about it. It wasn't so much the tattoos. The tattoos were a nice touch. Yeah. I didn't mind the tattoos so much, but she looked a little hard. It's she was definitely, and I kind of wondered for a second, like, are you supposed to be at the cannabis show? Like,
yeah, it was.
Are you selling like the Seven Dwarfs magic mushrooms or something like that?
Yeah. Then you had the feeble prince.
Yeah,
he looked nervous as hell.
Yeah, well, I'd look nervous too if, like, this is my princess. Like, is she gonna beat me to death? Like,
so that was a fucked up show.
Yeah, so. But the cannabis show as a whole, like, I was shocked at how little there was. Like,
they couldn't show you much.
Not only that, I mean,
the funniest thing for me, I go to, and I know a few people that work in dispensaries. I have them on my Instagram. I know them personally. Yeah. And they were saying that they had to fight around a lot of different rules, and it would be nice to have been able to showcase at least some of the, and you watch some expos that are going on in America now where it's recrecreational, which I believe here it's recreational, is it not? Like,
yeah, it's
like same law has been passed, and like is it Seattle? Is that one?
Washington State, yeah.
Is that okay? I think I was watching a convention there, and people were getting higher than the motherfucker. They had like people were walking around, and they had dabs ready for them, and people were like sampling dabs and just taking these heavy ass dabs. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then you had ours, which was smaller than, it was pretty small. It was like a bake sale. I've been to bigger bake sales in England.
You know what was weird too is kind of like there wasn't, number one, I don't think a lot of cannabis, growers and retailers, which I found odd because if you have a beer show, all the breweries come out.
That's what I mean. Like I expected to see people like Broken Coast who I get from medically.
Yeah, Tweed.
Yeah.
I can't think of some Nova. There's a ton of growers that, sort of emerged when legalization happened. And I expected to see all these guys there at the very least to kind of say, I mean, the way things are controlled here is that everything's government controlled. So it all comes through the Alberta government and it's distributed, but all these distributors sell to them. And then it's, they distribute it out to the guys that are basically in the retail thing. I would think that, at the very least you would have a company like Broken Coast or something, like Tweed, where these guys are like, we don't have anything here, but like, here's some swag. This is our product. This is what it is, information about it. And there was really very little of that. There was a couple like that. And the funny thing is the ones that were there felt very sterile, medical, like almost like there was the one company, I can't remember what they were called. It looked like they were selling Apple products. Like they had like multiple, sort of television sets. They had very young looking ladies, very prim and proper with like polo shirts with the collars popped almost and, holding their iPads like, would you like to take a survey? It's like,
that's what, and there was a lot of weird like grinders and shit. Like, grinders and like boxes. Like, okay, like I smoke weed, like a humidifying box for my weed. Yeah, that's a nice, if I ever get rich, I'll buy one. Yeah. What the fuck, man? I don't care about that shit.
Why? Is your weed ever around long enough that you're gonna have to keep it humidified?
Not really. Like, it's not wine. You know, we don't have a cellar filled with fucking weed. One, that's illegal. You're only allowed to carry a certain amount. So what's the fucking point? And two, like, I don't know. There was like boxes with like big grinders in them. Like, this is a box for your grinder, and then the grinder like had like multiple compartments. I know as well as any other fucking guy I've ever smoked weed with, buy the shittiest fucking grinder you can from like Hemposphere or some shit, and it'll be amazing and it'll work forever. Just clean it. Like, get a metal grinder, done. Yeah. Move on. You don't need no fucking box. Like, there's some of those grinders, I've never even ground enough weed to own a grinder that big. Right. Like, those are for like 18-year-olds that you see going to Hemisphere and buy the biggest fucking grinder, like party grinder like that, and he's going to pull it out at a house party one day and be like, who wants to smoke a blunt? And everyone's going to be like, oh my God. That's the only time that grinder is ever going to come out. When you come to my house, no, I don't fucking, I have a kid. It's all quiet and hush-hush. I have to do it in like upstairs, like in my room where my kid can't get, like on a cabinet. And this is when she's sleeping most of the time. Like, and it's a tiny little fucking metal thing that, if I need it, usually, it's a quick outside on the balcony.
See, the crazy stuff with all that is,
like, what the fuck? I'm going to pull out a box like this when my daughter goes to bed, like massive grinder, put in my $5 that I can afford now because I'm broke as fuck. Yeah. Grind that $5. It's fucking retarded.
But most of these guys, they weren't even, like, okay, so you've got a big industrial grinder, whatever, right? I don't know.
Fucking funny. Like,
I don't know. But, there's a lot of other people selling like normal size grinders. But the thing is, it's like they got a bunch of grinders from China shipped over because they're like, well, weed's legal now. We're gonna make a fortune off grinders. Like, let's do it. And so they ordered all these grinders, and they're like, we'll get a laser engraver, and we'll put like a Superman.
Right?
Logo.
It's getting way too out of control. Like, this is a fucking grinder.
We'll put a pot leaf on it. It's like, okay.
9 times out of 10, I don't even travel with my grinder. The best present I ever got was from Broken Coast on Christmas. They sent me, it was it's like a watertight container that you would use in the military to keep things inside of. And if you pull it out, you can store your stuff in there, and then you take it apart, and it's got a grinder in the bottom. Yeah. And it's like the best thing in the world. It's made from like military grade plastic. It's sweet.
Yeah. And there you go. I mean,
done.
These companies are giving them away in these smaller.
It was free for Christmas,
right? But I think that's kind of the only thing retail-y wise they could show. I mean, there was a bunch of
fucking grinder, really, like
grinders and like
I wanted
pipes.
more grow equipment. Like, yeah, there was like a few grow places there, but like I said, they weren't showcasing anything.
See, yeah,
like
and I mean, I'd like to talk about that because number one is that, you know, you remember early on when I was looking at it, I was looking at bringing a bunch of, you know, that kind of equipment in. I was looking at a brand called Cedo, where it was basically a sealed container with a camera where you never have to open the door, where you don't have to worry about mites. It's all done through fluids, you know, looking into that. I mean, they're still doing their thing. They had something similar to it there, but it was like, you know, the welfare version where there's no camera, it's not sealed like a fridge, you know, but it still costs you $2,500 and they threw some LED grow lights in there and it's like, okay, like this is going to be awesome. And it's like, really, it's not. Because if you looked at them, some of them were rusting already. So it's like, you know, you're doing a shitty job. It's, you know.
At least paint them or something.
I think the problem is that it's early on. So everybody's just trying to, you know, some people are just trying to make their money fast.
Do you think they would have been ready though? Like this is a 100-year-old industry. Like whether or not it's been legal, like let's be real. Like I've been involved in the scene for a long time, and this has been going on for years. Like it's not like these guys have just caught up. Like coming from when I was like 16 and going into head shops illegally, like, and no one gave a shit. Like I remember head shops downtown that were renting vaporizers. Yeah. This was years ago. This was when I was like 17. I rented a vaporizer. I was 17 years old and I rented a vaporizer from like head shop. Like this shit was going on, man. These were getting shut down all the time for like selling fucking weed to kids and shit.
I tell you, like you used to go to Stephen Avenue and there used to be like there used to be Charisma there. There used to be the head shop. There used to be Bodum. There used to be a whole bunch. And like,
Bodum, you used to be able to, I remember one of those, the Buddha one downtown, you used to be able to blow your own pipe and then you could buy weed off the fucking guy and you'd be he gave you all the tools you needed and you'd be getting high. And
so I mean it's been around forever. So I mean, you know, all these people that are kind of jumping in to sell like paraphernalia now,
when it's been growing still, like this is what I didn't understand about the show, right? Like when you first walked in, there was a bunch of hippies right there and like they were selling like their bongs, man, and it was just regular glass shit. Cool, man, I like glass art. I don't buy it because I'm not. When I was 21, I used to like showcase my bongs, you know what I mean? But now now it's more of a secretive thing for me. Like, even though it's illegal and I'm even extra illegal, I got my medical.
Yeah.
I got kids. I don't want people thinking that I'm fucking like bonged out of my head all day around my kids. I don't want you seeing a bong when you don't see shit when you come in my house and you don't smell shit. You don't see the shit, and that's how it is in my house because it's not so. For me, it's not so much like a glamorous thing like it used to be when I was younger. It's just something that it has become part of my life.
Right.
And that I use medically.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's not. And I get it. Like a lot of people love that shit. And I love glass art. I love it when I see a good bong. I love when I go on my friend's house who don't have, you know, responsibilities and I get to hit this king bong. I love that. But not in my house.
Yeah.
And I was looking for more like, you know, when we used to make oil, you were using a plastic bottle to scrape it up. Now you're using like silicone scrapers. You got all these tools. I was looking for like more modern things, and
they just don't have them.
They didn't have it there.
Yeah.
But we have that stuff available. You go to a head shop, and it would have been better than the expo. You would have seen more shit.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking. Like it's a little disappointing. Like I said, you know, I thought the retailers would have been there. I thought there would have been a lot more education in those regards, right? Because there are a ton of people that are just trying weed for the first time.
You know, and if the rules were that harsh, get a new venue.
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
It's fucking recreational. If you had gotten a private venue, which we live in Calgary, let's be honest, there's fucking more than enough places here. I could find you one myself. Maybe I should be working for you.
Yeah.
Maybe next time if you watch Lloyd and JD show, I should plan the event.
Yeah.
Because it's a joke. Yeah. If you're going to hold an expo that's going to be withdrawn so much that all you can do is send Canabana to stand there and be like, we sell weed sometimes.
Here's a bottle of water.
That's silly.
Yeah.
You've done nothing. That's what a waste of fucking time and money, man. I would have paid more money. I would have paid $20-$30 to get in if you had done it at a private show where it was legal to smoke weed because it's recreational. We're allowed to smoke weed. Like, I feel like we keep fucking forgetting.
Yeah.
When I remember, this is the saddest fucking thing. When weed was illegal, completely illegal, and it was a felony to even like possess oil, the Calgary Cup, where you smoke dope and people enter their strains to win, was a legal show, and it was held on private land, and I got a ticket to go.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And we pulled that off when it was illegal. Now it's recreational. We can't even pull off a fucking expo.
Right.
Like, if you can't hold it in the BMO, who gives a fuck?
Well, the irony is,
it's not like you even needed the space. Yeah. Like, it was tiny. You could have held that in my fucking basement.
Yeah. The BMO was kind of the funny part, too, because when we were walking in, one of the things that I noticed was all the new signage.
No smoke, no marijuana, no... Yeah. Why are we holding the convention here? This is fucking stupid.
And then there was the little subtext on the bottom is that, you know, marijuana isn't permitted on Stampede grounds, which they're just laying track for the Calgary Stampede because... As we were walking in, we were discussing it's going to be interesting what happens with the Stampede because the Stampede's kind of a weird place where you can drink if you're all herded into like a little tiny corner.
So why don't they herd the potheads? Yeah. This is what I don't...
Same thing with the smoking. The smoking, they just let you smoke anywhere, which is ridiculous. You want,
which has been my argument every time. I've been in the beer gardens outside and gone to lit a cigarette and bouncers have been like, you can't smoke in here. I'm like, I'm fucking outside. He's like, no, you can't smoke in here. You have to go outside. I have to go stand next to the kids. I have to go out there where people aren't drinking and smoke. Yeah. That's stupid.
It's ridiculous.
If you go to a fucking bar place where you're drinking and you're outside, you should expect to smell, you know, hookers and cigarettes.
One smells stronger than the other.
Yeah. That's why we smoke. That's why. Funny.
Oh, geez. That's crazy.
But yeah, I don't know. I think they failed.
But yeah, I mean, it's not the first year of the show. I kind of wish that I had gone last year to see so I could compare.
Get a different venue.
Yeah. They're going to go through growing pains. They're going to go through growing pains.
But that should just be obvious.
Yeah. Big part of it is maybe these guys are making way too much money at this point and they don't even feel like as a grower it's like, hey man, like we're making millions of dollars, like we're not even going to bother to try to sell you our product because we're sold out, like we don't care, you know. And that's a dangerous attitude to have in business because eventually,
especially the weed business,
like you were saying,
it has to be good.
You know, a friend who lives in Arizona was saying that, you know, pricing was extremely
last night.
Expensive. And then, you know, it's been years and now it's dropped down. It's a lot more competitive.
Drastically dropped down. Like I'm talking better than the market before it was legal, which is already undercutting the legal market.
Right.
So, and they're having issues with it.
And before we wrap up here, in a couple minutes, we do have to talk about the best part of the show.
What part of the show?
The best part of the show was as we were walking and we're going down, and this guy is like, hey, you want a card? And it was like really sketchy, like, sure. And he like hands over a card, and then it was like poof, he was like a leprechaun, he was gone.
I know, I wish I could have talked to him now that I read the card.
You know, but I mean, it just goes to show you that there are still some freelance entrepreneurs working the system, and
which have like Instagram and a website. It's crazy. There is a website.
Yeah.
I went to it, and there's a website.
Yeah. The funny part was, it's like when you look at the card, like, dude, there's no way in hell that this is legal. No way in hell. But cheap. You know what? He's doing his business the best way he knows how.
It's cheap and it looks like good product. I looked up.
Yeah.
I did a lot of research in it, but
it was funny because he had like the fancy bag, and you know, it was like
same guy was caught outside of 420, the one on McLeod, which is, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the most expensive dispensary in town. Don't go to it.
Yeah.
I can't vouch for it at all. I know the owner is just a bent up rich person who thinks that he can charge whatever he wants. I get the same strains, I get the same stuff from other dispensaries like Canacabana, Nova for much, much cheaper. Yeah. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Don't get ripped off. There's no point paying people like, I know a guy that keeps going, he's like, it's just close to me. Like, who gives a fuck? You got to drive another 5 minutes. You're giving money to a cocksucker. You're giving money to a cocksucker that's bad for our industry. Yeah. Our industry has been, it's about healing. It's about being nice to each other. That's what it's always been about. Even when I've never had like bad run-ins with pot dealers, unless like, I don't know, you're buying from like gangsters or some shit. But back when it was illegal, like there was many pot dealers that were just like the chillest dudes ever. Like it's always been that way. You know, you go meet a cocaine dealer, it's not the same fucking experience.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there's the cocaine dealers that deal weed and they have their own circles. But I'm just saying, most of us had our own, you know, little supply, and most of the guys are good shit. Like, and you got guys like that who had money before them and they're just jumping on this fucking ride. They don't have any love for the fucking, they just want to charge what they want to charge for shitty ass fucking flour.
Yeah.
But you get, you know, you go to other stores, you're going to get way better service. And Like, honestly, when you go in their store, it's like a stock market. You got like all the brands going up on the screens. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Well, that's all we got time for this week. Thanks for back. We're at the new season. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube, as is tradition.
Wow, outreach.
There we go.
Outreach.
We're branching out. We're branching out.
I'm Lloyd.
I'm JD.
Peace.
See ya.